Our colleague David Cohn joins us now. Obviously, he had a unique relationship with Yogi Berra for a variety of reasons, which we'll get to. But we're coming off his military service. And, David, it's amazing when I did that interview and I tried to get more out of him about his personal experience. It really went back to the team of soldiers and of Navy seamen. And it's amazing to think that that's what it was always about with Yogi. It wasn't about him. It was about others.
Yeah, the way he always described it, it was always about the team, even describing how he went into service. It was everybody was doing it at the time. He didn't think that was that big of a deal, but yeah, that was the kind of guy Yogi was. Just whatever the job took, he was there. He was ready to go and deflecting credit all the way.
And I'm glad you brought that up because when he enlisted for the Navy, he was 19 years old. And, Jack, by the way, he was sitting around in Norfolk and he was bored. He didn't have anything to do. So they said, hey, we're signing up for this crazy rocket boat idea. 6 guys on basically a boat loaded with dynamite and rockets and things like that. He said, yeah, I'm in. I'll do that.
And he's a teenager. And he was on the USS Bayfield. And actually, for all that he accomplished in his baseball career, he has often said that his military career trumped anything he did in his baseball career. And I think there are a lot of people who are watching out there right now who would say the same thing. He had a wonderful baseball career, Hall of Fame, maybe one of the greatest catchers, if not the greatest catcher ever. But the ability to serve his own country, that meant more to him.
Now, baseball-wise, July 18th, 1999. David, that is an important day for you, but it was an important day for Yogi as well, as we now remember Yogi Berra Day at Yankee Stadium.
Please welcome Yogi Berra.
You've been a major part of Yankee history. And as a member of the Yankee family, we want to welcome you back with a 1998 championship ring.
You know, I was proud to be a Major League ball player and proud to be a Yankee. A lot of good things have happened to me since I first put on the pinstripe over 50 years ago. I played on great teams, great championship teams, and the Yankees also became my family. Well, I want to thank you all for making me feel right at home. Thank you.
After the Yankees honored Yogi with touching words, generous gifts, and special guests, the greatest team in baseball history did something unimaginable. They ensured that this day would forever be a part of baseball history. On Yogi Berra Day, they were perfect.
And the 1-2. Swung and a miss. He struck him out.
What a play by Paul O'Neill.
The 1-2 to White. Swung on a miss. He struck him out on a breaking ball out of the strike zone.
3 outs to go for a perfect game for David Cohn. 6-0 Yankees in the ninth.
Struck him out swinging. Slider away. Could this be another great memory in a ballpark full of great memories? The last out of Wells' perfect game, a fly ball to right. The last out of Larson, a strikeout.
It'll be a 1-1 pitch. He popped him up. He's going to get it. Grosh's down from third. Grosh's makes the catch. Ball game over. A perfect game. A perfect game for David Cohn. It is the 3rd perfect game in Yankee Stadium history. Don Larson in 56. David Wells in 98. David Cohn in 99. What a day. What a day.
This game started. It started with Yogi Berra behind the plate, catching the first pitch from Don Larson, creating their magic moment from back in 1956. And maybe Yogi Berra perhaps said it best, John. It's deja vu all over again here in the Bronx.
Look at that young buck out there just slinging a perfect game. Boy, that day in so many ways was magic, David.
Well, it really was. I remember warming up before the game and not even thinking about anything. I was so carefree watching Yogi Berra ride around in a convertible and the look on his face and the adoring fans and the reception. And you go around the whole ball field, whether you looked at Derek Jeter's face or Joe Torre's face or Don Zimmer's face in the dugout in that last clip really told you the respect that everybody felt for Yogi that day, and just a remarkable day.
So I'm curious, because you normally had your game prep the way you'd get ready for a game. That probably took you a little out of your element. element. Did that help you in some way?
I think it had to help me, Bob. I mean, usually I had my game face on, I was dead serious and, all business, but that particular day, warming up before the game, I really didn't have anything on my mind. It was just a carefree day. I don't even remember the warm-up. I remember being distracted watching Yogi, as I said, in that convertible riding around the field, and there was so much going on that day. It was such a happy day. So many great days at Yankee Stadium over the years, but that particular day, everybody was so happy because Yogi was back at home.
There were wonderful shots, which I'm sure you've since seen, of Larson and Berra sort of nervously watching you. Post-perfect game, have you ever looked back and seen their reaction to what you were doing?
Yes, I did. I know that we kind of joked, I apologized to both Yogi and Don because they had to stay for the whole game. It was a long day for Yogi and Don, and usually they were pulling a Phil Rizzuto and getting out of there by the 4th or 5th or 6th inning to get across the bridge, as they said, and all of a sudden they looked at the scoreboard, they couldn't leave, and by the end of the game, I think they both were genuinely happy to see on Yogi Berra Day, on his day, that he was able to kind of get the seal at the end and say, you know what, there was a perfect game in 1956 and during the World Series, and obviously on Yogi Berra Day I threw mine.
Final thing on that day, what resonates with you? Did they say something to you afterwards that just has always stuck with you, or maybe even in the years that have passed?
Yeah, there's a couple of things. I remember Don Larson throwing out the first pitch to Yogi Berra, and Yogi walking out to home plate, and Joe Girardi handing him his glove so that he could catch the first pitch. And I said something to Don Larson about, hey, are you going to go over and jump in Yogi's arms again? And he looked at me and said, hey, kid, you got it wrong. He jumped into my arms. And then I remember looking down behind home plate. There was a number 8 painted in the grass. And then obviously I threw 88 pitches on that day. So think about that one for a minute. I threw 88 pitches in a perfect game on Yogi Berra Day.